The spirit of this work. One of the hardest things to get across to people is the real spirit behind this work. I think those who study with me inevitably begin to sense it over time, yet clarifying it into a condensed communication can be challenging. Even I have difficulty telling a stranger what it is I do. There is such a big gap between the common touchstones that most of us share as an assumed reality and what I'm often trying to convey, that there are no starting places for an accurate communication. To leap across this gap between the two takes a commitment and openness that is often generally lacking in humanity. My inability to easily bridge this gap notwithstanding, it is the spirit behind this endeavor that is the most important component and the principle I'd like most not to be lost when I die. The spirit or driving principle behind my work is really the same in the martial and body being investigations as it is in the consciousness work. Simply stated, it could be said that the purpose is to discover in every way possible and of every aspect of the subject whatever is true, including its very nature. That is the basic, but it still doesn't reveal all that is behind this endeavor. Let's unpack this a bit, beginning with the question, how does this spirit shows up? Is a strong drive or obsession to honestly and personally seek out what's really true a necessary element? Absolutely. Sometimes people ask where they can find the motivation necessary to pursue this work. The motivation is simply wanting to know what's true. This prime element provides all the motivation you need, unless, of course, you don't really want to know. From this motivation, a real interest, wonder, fascination, and curiosity should arise, without which, how would your mind be stimulated to investigate the existential makeup of all that is experienced, including a deeper questioning of what might be overlooked? You will also need a kind of self-contained capacity to investigate any subject. You must create the possibility that you personally can directly uncover whatever subject you tackle. This is not about having opinions, figuring out, or drawing conclusions. It is living inside of the possibility that you can directly experience for yourself whatever is true, independent of beliefs or hearsay. Without taking on this responsibility, and so putting yourself in the driver's seat, you would be limited to guessing or to others' assertions, and neither of these are consistent with this work. So, what we might call an obsession or drive to become conscious of whatever subject we take on is essential to the spirit of this work. That isn't to say has to show up as an overwhelming enthusiasm or that you should throw up your hands because the job is just too big. Start with a genuine wanting to know and simply proceed with what you can and what can be done given where you are now. You simply need to want to achieve whatever it is you are attempting and be willing to pursue it until it becomes a conscious reality for you. Commensurate with this obsession is a passion for the work. Being enthusiastic about the pursuit is useful, but not necessary. Poetically speaking, it needs to be more like a deep fire or fervor that runs like a nuclear reactor, fueling your investigations. Many challenges can arise, negative resistance is likely to occur, and you may well run into seemingly insurmountable barriers. But it's your passionate commitment that will get you through these challenges. Such passion also stimulates the brain and sharpens your mind, as well as keeps your attention and awareness always working on the problem, even in the background, to produce fruit at a later time. Honesty is clearly an element as well, especially developing a self-honesty to the point that it hurts and may well run counter to self-interests. No matter what the subject is, the truth can't be pursued through any kind of deception, bias, misinterpretation, lying, ignoring, distortion, or any other activity that isn't aligned with what's true. Honesty is simply aligning your experience, including your thinking, communications, expressions, and so on, as best you can with whatever you assess to be true. Again, grasp that honest relates to true, and so must be a component of pursuing the truth. Another element that is necessary is to look beyond convention and assumption, taking nothing for granted and being willing for the result to be unexpected or even unwanted or inconceivable is necessary in order to create an openness needed to pursue such consciousness. The only criteria is that the result is actually true. Because of this commitment, courage is necessary. A degree of courage is also required, since not only do you need to confront the self-honesty that can prove painful and difficult, it is also necessary to delve into areas that may prove unfruitful or challenging. You may think you discovered something that is, in the end, is found to be a mistake. In this case, correction needs to vigorously occur, despite any embarrassment that might arise. You might also discover something that goes against your beliefs or fantasies or desires, and therefore will have to give those up. The main commitment must be to discover what's true beyond personal cost. Such an effort includes discovering or learning facts, figuring out how something works, or realizing the principles and dynamics behind interaction, emotion, perception, or any other life activity, as well as becoming conscious of what is absolutely true beyond human conception or even experience. I suspect that when I say beyond human conception or experience, people may be baffled by this. Am I saying that is inaccessible? If so, then what's the point to pursue it? To be clear, I'm not asserting that human conception and understanding or even experience is the end-all to what's possible. The goal isn't to find what can be found within the limits of our own mind or biology, but to grasp what is actually true. When it comes to what's absolutely true, this must step outside of any limitation. Therefore, we have to create the possibility that we can become directly conscious, independent of anything conceivable or perceivable, and independent of all hearsay or what anyone, including ourselves, asserts. Direct consciousness itself isn't limited to any form of experience, understanding, or conception. Like I mentioned, a disposition commensurate with this spirit and endeavor is to put oneself into the driver's seat, meaning you must make it your own. If you look at almost any of the books I've been asked to sign over the decades, the message is inevitably make it your own. This sentiment is essential because if you are not the source of personally experiencing or becoming conscious of anything I've communicated or anything you are attempting to discover, it won't become real for you. By now, everyone interested in my work knows I am strongly against anyone believing anything I say or anything they say or anyone else says. Believing or assuming is contrary to this pursuit and is actually detrimental. This is an important point. Spinning one's internal wheels or adopting hearsay is not what true discovery is about. The practice needs to be beyond oneself, because the truth isn't about oneself, it is about itself, even though oftentimes the itself is yourself. In my other writings, I've outlined quite extensively the dynamics that dominate our perceptions and experience that will always be inconsistent with any clarity in discerning the truth. Yet here, we're looking at the spirit behind our pursuit rather than anything discovered using it. As I've pointed out, genius has a lot to do with staying with the problem longer until it's solved. This is what could be called contemplation. It is also what it takes to get to this level of consciousness and knowledge. A rather impatient patience is another key element that seems to contribute to this work. If you put together what I've mentioned so far, you may be able to glean the indomitable spirit behind what I do. I'm not claiming it is a complete list or fully captures this spirit, but it's a start and points you in a direction. It seems that some of the operating principles that stand out within this spirit are a commitment, a committed drive and passion to discover whatever's true, creating a self contained capacity and possibility that you can personally grasp what's true, honesty, courage, and responsibility, making it your own, looking beyond convention, assumption, conception, perception, and oneself, not believing, but instead grasping what's true for yourself, being impatiently patient and staying with the problem longer. If you're up for it, I recommend that you work to bring each point into your experience until it is an operating principle that governs your thinking, questioning, and searching. Maintain it for some time. When you can experience being aligned with each principle, experience them all as a function of your ongoing and daily consciousness. Then find the spirit where these principles arise naturally and must arise for that spirit to exist. I still can't actually tell you what this spirit is in some easy to remember soundbite. But if you consider something that inherently contains all of the elements I've outlined, perhaps you get the idea. Leaping beyond the idea, grasp it as a simple and indomitable intent or principle. This intent walks a razor's edge that operates from the aforementioned distinctions as a matter of course, knowing when you or anyone is pursuing the truth and when you or they are not. Yet you really have to do it, not just think about it. Commensurate with our look into the spirit of this endeavor may be a disposition I adopted early on. One of the reasons I may seem to have insights, clarity, and abilities where others don't is my lack of attachment to any domain of human invention. Inevitably, people fall into a particular worldview, what I inaccurately call a cosmology or belief system about reality, traditional or modern, such as some form of spirituality, all kinds of fantasies, personal growth, perspectives, martial art dogmas, religions of all kinds, or any other invented human view about reality, along with its accompanying belief systems. Adopting any such world of beliefs molds one's thinking to conform to this system, and so biases and distorts one's view of the cosmos or reality as well. It limits the possibilities considered for investigation and the direction in which one will look. Consider that most of what has been presented in this book, much of which virtually no human has even considered, could only have been discovered through such an approach. Most often, however, people are unknowingly stuck in some view or beliefs that will prevent any real open questioning. This belief system is most often simply hearsay, yet sometimes it comes from personal conclusions that are really just conjecture. Although generating a cosmology of beliefs, meaning an overall view of reality, is extremely common and dominate in almost all investigations, claiming to seek the truth of some matter, it is also a mistake. Transcending assumptions and beliefs is necessary in order to pursue an open and true investigation or contemplation. Most people don't know that the worlds they believe in, whether it is a spiritual belief system, a practice of some sort, a gloomy outlook on life, an affectation of some kind, a fantasy, or any other view, are not true. They are just made up, often by others in which we join, or by oneself for various, often unconscious, reasons. Challenging all of these beliefs is an important step toward freedom and the pursuit of the truth. If after transcending the dogma and beliefs of some invented world, you still find its basic framework to be useful towards some end, it can be used, but with the knowledge It is only a tool serving a purpose and is not necessary or true in and of itself. The spirit of this work includes working to become free from all such beliefs and dogmas.